It's not that hard to sell a house, but it's always the anticipation of or the fear of that creates all the problems. Okay, so starting out, you will get your first deals from, we call it Sphere. Basically, that's your sphere of influence, right? People that already know you, that like you, and that trust you. This is why we require for people to join to have 200 contacts. And a contact is simply defined as a name and a way to contact them. My first week in real estate, they're like, okay, build a database, right? And the database was my sphere. I would come from a construction background, and I just graduated from college, and I owned a coffee shop, so I knew a lot of people. I knew people all over Oregon, because I went to Oregon State, and so I had a bunch of friends that lived in Portland, and Eugene, and Salem. So I developed this list, and the first thing I did was like, hey, I've made a change. I'm now selling real estate at this company. You know, we sold 144 homes last year, you know, so I'm supported by a group. I started on the team. Send that blast out. So Sphere, right? You turn your contacts and then you blast. And this also works not for just starting out. This is for everybody. You can do this once a year. Like one great way to do it is develop the database for Christmas cards and then send them out with updates. You don't want to be like salesy in a Christmas card. That's like cringy, but you can let them know what you're doing. I did that yesterday. So you blast email and then you call. So the idea with this method is you email everybody. Most people don't read their emails. Is that fair? Larry, how many unread emails do you have in your inbox?
Thousands.
But do you scroll maybe subject lines that come through, see if anything's worth opening? So the subject line is the most important thing. So like, I've made a change. I have exciting news, right? Something that would like grab their eyes. And then hopefully they read like the first couple sentences. Hey, I made a change. I'm now selling real estate. Watch out. I'll be reaching out to you to see, you know, who you know that I could help buy, sell, or invest in real estate. So if you email them, hey, I'm going to be calling you because I made a change and it's really exciting. And so then the next natural step would be for you to call them. Now does two things. It lets them know to expect a call from you, and there's now accountability for you to do what you said you were going to do. So we'll go through the structure of your first calls, right? So one, ask for the business. And it's a passive ask. Who do you know? Hey, Kat, you want my house? Should I f you? That's weird. Sorry. But if I say, Kat, who do you know that needs to buy a house? Right? That's different. If Kat's thinking about buying a house, that's an opportunity for her, right? And then we do the 30-day check-in. Hey, have you thought of anybody? Hey, it's me, still hungry, still broke, still dying, need help. I'm really good at what I do. I just need clients. Have you thought of anybody? Right? So you don't have to like go straight for the kill, be like, yo, dude, you want to buy a house? It's like, hey, who you know, right? Oh, perhaps, have you guys thought about making a move? Everyone has to live somewhere, right? They're either renting or they're owning. So renters want to own homes, maybe. Some homeowners may want to rent, who knows? Like, but we start the conversation by asking for the business, right? And then the second thing is additional information. So maybe you've got the name and their phone number, you have their address. Hey, by the way, where do you live? Would you mind if I sent you a report every other month or quarterly on what's happening in your neighborhood? Would that be of interest to you? Okay, right, and that's one way. Oh, okay, unless you want me to mail you a 30-page thing every quarter, what's a good email address I could send this to? People that we didn't represent but bought our listing, we know their name, we know their address, and I happen to have phone number, email. So I tagged him as local. That way he gets invited to our events because he knows people and he's going to use me in the future. And I tagged bought our listing, so I can search that and then I could call or email everyone that's purchased one of our listings, because I know in 2, 5, 7 years, these people are going to sell again. I want them to forget the person that they worked with and I want them to remember me, right? So this is like one of our post-closing processes that we do for you as a real estate agent to make sure that you get the next sale from these people. And you don't have to think about this stuff, we just handle it. We just rebuilt our market report. And what a market report is it tells you a ton of information about what's happening in your specific neighborhood, specific to your house. Is it okay if I get an updated email, send it quarterly? Right, so then you talk to them, they're not ready, they're good, they don't have any friends or family. But in 3 months, boom, they get an email from you. And then in 3 months, they get an email, or in a month, or in 2 weeks. You can set the cadence. So when the time does come, they get a divorce, or she's pregnant, or the kid just moved out, and they're like, whatever problems people have that make them want to sell, they think of us. They Rutledge, right? And maybe they look up Rutledge, or they look up your name because it comes from your name in the email. Oh, that's right. And maybe they click a button, and then you get a notification in Brivity. And because you're in your CRM every day doing what you're supposed to be doing, you notice that, and you call them, you get a deal. Or what's really bad is we build the tech, we have all your clients' contact information, we're emailing them monthly. They look at their home report, they have a comment, and you never call them, and they list with someone else, right? Are there other agents that these people could work with? Plenty. Plenty. So we need to be really good and consistent with these activities, because if we're not consistent, then it's kind of hit and miss. You'll get some deals just by hanging around, but you won't have an intentional business and a predictable business if you're not predictable and consistent yourself. Honestly, if you do this well, you make a lot of money. Assuming, right, you're well respected or known. If you're a shithead and you have shithead friends and you've acted like a shithead and nobody likes you and you do this, it's not gonna work, right? So there's like some prerequisites that need to be in place. Like you're a consistent, trustworthy person in general. You're generally likable and generally dependable, right? And then people go, oh yeah, right? Larry was killing it in the cell phone place. He always took care of me. So I know that the way Larry does one thing is the way Larry does everything. So he's a good dude over here, I's a good dude over here, right? If we were a shithead over here, we may have some things to work on in ourselves before we ever get someone to trust us with the largest transaction of their lives. Does that make sense? Like I was good to go, hard worker, got good grades, I got okay grades in college, I passed. But people knew who they were dealing with. So when I went from construction into real estate, they're like, yeah, we'll use this guy for sure. Because I was me in a different industry, right? But if I showed up late, left early, had a bad attitude, fill in the blank, they're going, oh, great, yeah. Now shithead just changed hats, still a shithead, right? So then you need to think, if we're not having success working with our sphere, people that know, like, and trust us, or what you call like your warm network, it's probably you. My dad told me this. I was like getting out of high school, like, I gotta get out of Medford, this little town, you know, it's people. He's like, hey, wherever you go, there you shall be. So if you have these problems here, moving over here, you'll have the same problems because it's you. Wherever you go, there you shall be. So we bring the positive or the negative from our past with us unless we make a change. So that's something to consider, right? Was 2024 a good year? What do we like about it? What didn't we like about it? What did we say we were gonna start doing Jan 1 of 2024 that we didn't do? And how has that negatively affected us? Was it fitness goals? Was it health goals? Was it financial? Was it work related? Was it relationship related? How long did we do it before we fell off? I think it's by the end of January, most resolutions have gone to shit. And you go back to wherever you go, there you shall be, right? So like this is a time that we can reflect on that. In new guys, you can say, hey, what do I want in December 24th of 2025? What do I want to have accomplished that I'm gonna have to start doing now to get there? You've got to make a change at some point, right? And typically like what you need is action, because action, as my buddy Grant Cardone says, is the middle finger to doubt. It's not that hard to call people. It's not that hard to go on an appointment. It's not that hard to sell a house, but it's always the anticipation of or the fear of that creates all the problems. right? And so if you just do it, then you realize, oh, okay, it's not that big of a deal. People don't care that much if you misspeak on the phone or if you stutter, in a listing walkthrough or when you're showing someone a house, or even if you step in dog poop, like it happens. It's all mental. So like it's an opportunity right now for us to say, okay, what have I allowed mentally to happen that has stopped me from reaching my goals? And then what do I need to do to stop doing it? And then immediately just do it. The thing you don't want to do the most today is the one thing that you need to do. That's how you always know. Your subconscious, the part of your brain you can't control, knows damn well what you need to do. And so the person you don't want to call is the person you need to call. The person you want to call isn't going to get you anywhere. We'll do a call day and people just start calling their friends because they don't want to call the people that are interested in buying or selling because they'd rather just bullshit themselves through the day and then say, hey, I'll just do it tomorrow. And you do it tomorrow and you do it tomorrow and you do it tomorrow. You keep saying that until it's this time this year and you realize you've only closed 6 homes because you never actually did the thing that you knew you were supposed to do because it was the one thing you didn't want to do. It really is that feeling of the one thing you don't want to do is your true north as to what to do. And if you get used to doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, you will have success in this business, right? Cat deals with people like that in property management. The one you don't want to call back is the one you got to call back. Because if you don't, it's going to bug the shit out of you and it's going to create noise in the back of your head. And then you're going to say you're busy, yet you didn't do anything all day because you didn't do the thing, right? It's called confront the beast, man. And remember, everyone you email and call, dude, they already have an agent. You were not in real estate, right? You have not been in real estate. They say, hey, I got a guy. I had people laughing at me, put me on speakerphone. What the hell, dude, you're in real estate now? I hate real estate agents. I got clients that hate real estate agents. I'm like, I know you do, but if you got to use one, you might as well use this guy. So be prepared for them to say, dude, I just bought a house, we're set. That's okay. That's to be expected. Don't be disappointed. You can't possibly be disappointed, even though you'll feel that way a little bit. You weren't around, or you didn't call them, or they didn't know. So you're going to do it, and then the business will come in the following months when they're unhappy with their current living situation, and we've been emailing them every 3 weeks or once a month or whatever cadence you choose, then they decide to give you a shot. So keep that in mind. Everyone that you call, if they've been involved in any real estate, they've used someone else. And 80%-ish of people that have done a real estate transaction with a real estate agent were happy with their agent. Most agents do a good enough job, 80%, 85%, something like that, to where the people are like, yeah, I'd use them again. But why they don't use them again when it's time is they forgot about them. And that's where you can get in, right? Your friend that bought a house 5 years ago, maybe they remember that it was someone from RE/MAX, or they just don't remember their first day, but they remember their face. That happens, right? And then bang, you get to swoop in there and the other agent's like, what happened? You didn't stay in touch with them. Or maybe they were on the other agent's website, but that agent doesn't work consistently, and they didn't see that their friend was showing buying activity by looking at the same house 3 times and then arguing with the automated valuation model about what the value of their home was because that agent isn't consistent, like a lot of people are. And then they reached out, maybe that person didn't answer the phone, and then boom, they call you because you were consistent. Consistency is everything. Consistency is everything. There is nothing else. Because if you do it every once in a while, it's like walking around with a hatchet and hitting a tree here, and then you go hit another tree, and you go hit another tree. You're not doing shit. So when we make a call every once in a while, we send an email every once in a while, we send a postcard every once in a while, you're just wasting money, time, energy, and everything. First, sharpen your axe, which is get a plan, right? We have a plan for the new people. Minimum of 200. It's a name and a way to contact them. You send them an email, and then you make a phone call, and then when you follow up, and then you ask them, what's your address? What's your email? Who you know, right? That's the sharpening of the axe. And then you stay on that 200 contacts, your for whatever your database is, your sphere, and you stay on it and you chop and you chop and you chop and you chop. You don't do that for a day. Call 50 of your closest friends and family, and then go design a billboard. And then kill it right at the end because it's too expensive, and then think, I'm gonna wrap my truck. That's gonna be what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna call anyone. I'm just gonna put some stickers on my truck, right? But you only stickered half the truck because it was taking forever, and then your phone rang, right? So you got a half sticker truck, you got a half built billboard, you've only made 50 dials, you're exhausted, and you haven't done any real estate business because you're all over the place. Instead of just doing one thing, one tree, pick one tree, right? Like our one tree is our CRM. That's customer relationship management. Like we put everybody in here, we live inside of this, we get used to it, we use it consistently, and it works. I've talked to guys that have all these zany ideas about how they can get rich in real estate. And I'm like, dude, keep it simple, man. Keep it simple and consistent. And that's what's hard. It's easy to spend money and do all the flashy stuff, and it gets you nowhere. Really, it gets you nowhere, unless you do it consistently, right? If you like drive the same route every day, honking your horn, screaming, call me if you want to buy a house. Maybe you'll pick up a client doing that if you do that every day for a year, or you probably start getting shot at. Make the news, and then you'd sell a house because your face is in the newspaper, right? But consistency is so important. Just like fitness or parenting, if you're inconsistent, it shows up everywhere. Right? Just look in the mirror. Everyone knows that the Fed has bad data because the data's been manipulated. And that's what's caused 2023 and 2024 to be some of the hardest years in real estate in 30 years. It hasn't been this bad since 1995. But what we don't often understand is in 1995, there was about 100 million less people in the US. So the number of deals, right? Like the number of deals per capita per person is way lower than 1995, right? So let's say that there was like 3.5 million done in 1995, and that was when there's 200, maybe it was like 220 people. So 220 divided by 3.5, you would get a number. 1 in 7 people or something like that. 1 in 7 people bought. But when you have 3.5 million in 2024, and there's 330 million people, it's 1 in 10, or whatever the math is. Someone would have to do the math on that. So let's say if this was one deal for 7 people in the US, now it's one deal per 10 people. So it's actually worse than it's ever been, because this was as low as it's been since we've recorded it, but that was with 220 million people in the US. Now it's the same number with an extra 100 million. That makes sense? Like, it's been a tough year. But we still sold, 150, 160 homes. Not bad. So think about what we could do when rates drop, right? If assuming you guys are doing the shit you're supposed to be doing, the shit I ask you to do, and I've always asked you to do. Show up every day, lead generate every day, follow up every day, right? It's 2 hours worth of work that I request in the office, 2 hours of concentrated work a day. You can do it from 9 to 11. You can do it from 11 to 1. You can do it from 3 to 5. You do it from 5 to 7, but it has to get done. So if you're doing that work, you're selling a few homes, right? And then as soon as the market changes, you're selling a shitload of homes because the habits and the consistency have been built today. But if you're inconsistent now, you will be inconsistent later, right? Because wherever you go, there you shall be. If you don't change, the market will not be as good for you as it could be, simply because you're not doing what you need to do to be successful. It's kind of a simple formula. So regardless of what the market's doing, we show up every day. I show up every day for you guys. A lot of times Madeline and I are the last people to leave. Success leaves clues. When the office is empty at 11 a.m. and there's been 40 calls made, it's concerning because I know that you're struggling now and you're always going to struggle until something changes, right? And like action is the catalyst for that change. It's by doing that you will change. It's not by thinking about it or planning about it, right? There has to be some thought and planning in order to be successful, right? That's sharpening the axe. Weekends are bullshit. Weekend didn't exist until about 100 years ago. Like there's been the Sabbath, you take, whatever your religion is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday off, usually one day. God created the heavens and the earth and he took the 7th day off, right? Genesis. Whew. Whoa, okay. So you should be working a lot, right? That's like a thing. If you want to build shit, dude, you got to work a lot to get the ship built. And each one of us has our own little business inside of this business, right? We provide you the support, we provide the leads, provide the coaching, the training, the building, the motivation. In a motivation is simply a reason for doing something. That's all motivation is. So we provide the reason for you to do what you're doing. That's what this is. Now you have, okay, here's what you do, here's how you do it, and here's why you do it. And here's what happens if you don't do it. You will be right where you are this time next year. If you don't change anything, fast forward 10 years, same problems you have today, just worse, right? But if you change, the world is your oyster. If you decide to stop eating like for me, I stop drinking during the week, or stop drinking at all, or work out more, or pick up the phone more. I can change the way my body looks. I can change my likelihood for getting cancer and heart disease and breaking a hip and dying at 70. By doing things today, I can change it. So you guys can change your business, your health, your entire lives, but it's hard, right? Is going to the gym, Carlos is back on the 6 a.m. trend, not the easiest thing in the world, right? And Carlos will work out for 2 months and we'll see zero change. And then all of a sudden, month 6, someone says, dude, what's up? What's different, right? But Carlos had to do all this work with no reward to get his body to change. Same thing in business. You do all this work, nothing's changed, and boom, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I got a couple deals pending. Ooh, I got a couple more pending. Ooh, I'm getting closings and I'm pending, right? Because I'm showing up every day, even though I don't see the results immediately.